Hi, and welcome to Design It with Tammy Gibbs. I'm Tammy, and today I'm going to be exploring one of the tools that I use for my digital product creation, my clip art, all of that sort of stuff. I do not use the AI generator that is available inside Pixelcut, but I am going to be talking about Pixelcut. Now, I do have a affiliate link, but I wanted to take a minute to tell you about how I feel about affiliate links. Okay. So everyone knows I have an affiliate link for Artistly because that is the platform that I use all the time. Pixelcut is another one of the tools that I use a lot. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about it and a little bit about some of the other products so that you know the tools that I use and why I use them. So, first off, Pixelcut has a lot of different little features. I'm going to be really transparent here to say that the ones that I use are the bulk, or they call it a batch upscaler and a batch background remover. I've used those for over a year now. I actually did renew at the end, and I will keep that as a tool in my toolbox. Okay, so I'm at this Pro Legacy, and I noticed this morning that they have gone up. I don't believe that this Legacy, it may not be available anymore because it looks like the price went up to $8 basically a month if you are billed yearly. You do save 20% with a yearly plan. But this looks identical, this Pro. So I think that this was one I got in before they raised their prices. So that's also one of the things that's important, that a lot of times with these companies, just like with Artistly, right now there's still that one-time payment for lifetime usage, and you get all of the free updates. At some point that model will change, and if you are already have that product, then you will already benefit from all of the improvements. I sort of akin this to, when you're an initial investor in kind of a company. When they put out products that are cheaper than they will eventually be, and you get in on the ground floor, you often save a lot of money because you are sort of helping to um, push them forward with their improvements. Your money helps them to develop, and so you therefore benefit from all the rest of the developments. And that's the way Artistly is. That's why I was so happy to get in on that first day that they released it. And I worked through all of the previous versions. And now with Artistly, they have made so many improvements. They're not perfect, but they made so many improvements. And now you get so much more for that money that you invest until it makes it even more worthwhile. And Artistly had, it paid for itself back in the first couple months, way back in 23. So all of the money I make now using the product is basically gravy. So that's how that works. And it's kind of the same with this. I got in on this Pro Legacy, so mine is still at this discounted rate. So the longer you wait on some of these, then the more expensive it becomes to get them. So anyway, I wanted to talk about Pixelcut so that you see what I use it for, how I use it, how it works, and why I keep it in my toolbox. Okay, because we all know that our expenses per month um, are very important, especially in the beginning stages of building our businesses. And if you're doing digital product creation, you're doing clip art, you're doing invitations, you're doing activity pages or journals or planners or whatever, um, the beginning is going to be very important. It's foundational to your business. So you want to make sure that you are spending on tools that forward your purposes. And a lot of times we do buy tools and buy training and things that don't move us forward. And that's what we have to be very careful of in our evaluation of the tools. Now, expenses are necessary. And let me just say that once you hit that month, that things all change for you and things become more steady in your shop, you're getting more consistent sales, you're going to wish you had those expenses, and all those expenses prior to are going to help you, because when you go to doing your taxes and stuff like that, and I can only speak for the US, where I live, we have deductions that we can take, and business expenses and all these products are kind of like write-offs, because they go against our profit, because those aren't are items that we can use and expense. So I don't know how it is in other countries, but that's the way it is here. So all of these things are business expenses. All my fees and stuff like that are, cost of doing business kind of things. So I look at it like that. So Pixelcut is what I do. Like I said, I use it for its, and I'm just going to go up and show you tools and okay. So right across here, you have the remove background. Many of you have seen me use this product. I just haven't really talked about it at length. And y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm suffering with allergies right now, seasonal allergies, and it has got my throat crazy. I apologize for my voice and my coughing and clearing my throat. It's just part of it. I can't, nothing stops because I have allergies. But anyway, okay, so this is basically the way it's set up. And the batch edit is where the magic happens. It's basically where you can take a whole bunch of images and do them at one time, which you can tell is very, I'm just going to grab, let me just grab some images real quick and find a, okay, so I think I'm going to go in here and look and see. Okay, those are not really images for clipart. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some clip art in here. Let's see. Okay, let's just do, okay, I can do these. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. We'll do all of those. We'll do all of these. These are just random images. And this is how the batch edit works. It does a really good job. A lot of times it will remove and do a cleaner, crisper job than Canva or any of the other background removers. And it does it fairly quickly. As you can see, these are really good, clean images. And within Pixelcut, I can also, when this is done, they do have a limit to how many at one time, but I'm not super sure. Okay, so that's all of those. So you can see it does a really good job. I'm going to have to download them though, because unfortunately they don't have an option where you can take these in and then you can upscale them also. And I also do the upscale. They have an option for 2x or 4x, and I usually do the 4x unless it ends up being too large, and then I'll have to redo it. So I'm just going to open this file and extract all these, and then I'm going to go back into Pixelcut. And I just usually backtrack. It'll say close. It'll take me back here. So then what I have to do is I have to scroll down here to more free tools. Or you could go backwards, but I do it this way. And then there's the batch upscale. So then I can go back into here. And I can go up, grab my folder. I just grab all these images. And then I will let it upscale them by 4x. And I know that inside Artistly, we also now have the bulk features, which I did not have when I renewed for Pixelcut. Now, however, I'm going to keep Pixelcut. I have it for another year, and I hope that the Artistly will get even better, because that's also a very good way to do it. And I am using it for the 300 DPI and the upscaling. The background remover sometimes doesn't work quite as well as Pixelcut. So actually having a couple of different options has worked super good for me. Basically, I have Canva. If you're just doing a single image, like for an invitation or something, you'll see me inside Canva. I have the Pro version that has the background remover. And sometimes I will use it, and then I'll get my image, like my invitation. I'll do my background image. Then I'll export it, download it out, and then I'll upload it in Pixelcut in order to upscale that whole thing, and then pull it back into Canva Pro to then make my template, with my text that's going to be editable. But basically, this does take a few minutes. It kind of depends on the speed a lot of times of your computer, how long it takes. It's taken a little bit longer than it normally does. But I also did it at the 4x and not the 2x. 2x is quicker. But the images are clean. The images upscale very well. It still does not do the 300 DPI. So that may be a feature that they offer in the future. Who knows? So within the next year, they may add the ability to also convert to 300 DPI, and that would be make it even more valuable. So, like I said, the Pixelcut for me was a good decision. It is a good backup, because it seems like when nothing else will clean the backgrounds really well, Pixelcut usually does a really good job. Now, the order that I do these things is normally I do, and this is my thoughts on it. I know a lot of people do it different ways, and I'm open if you in the comments want to tell me why you do it the way you do it. Normally, I will remove the backgrounds prior to doing the upscale. The reason that I do that is because, number one, if you are upscaling that background, I just feel like it's kind of a waste, because the background you're going to try to remove. And I think it may, in fact, make it more difficult once you've upscaled that image to remove the background clearly. So in my mind, that's just what logically, how I think it should be done. I'm open to other points of view on that. I think this is almost ready now. This is actually slower than it normally does. It normally does them a lot quicker. Now, the background removal is a lot quicker than the upscale, so I will say that. So, and that could be speed of my internet at this point. Who knows? But that's kind of how that process works. So let's go back over while that's finishing and just kind of look at the monthly differences. So this one, the legacy, is $9.99 a month. I paid for it, like I said, in the yearly plan. So I basically paid about $4.99. So it was $54 or something, $56 or something, whatever it is. That's what I paid. But you'll see that, if you go with like a pro here, which honestly, for what most of us do, unless you're doing a lot of things that you want to use all those little extra things for. And like I said, I was not super impressed with the AI images that it created. If I played with it, I might be able to do something a little bit differently. But you are going to get 600, even at the level I'm at, the pro level, you're going to get 600 credits a month. So let's just say, there's no harm in using them. If you can make it do some decent images and you have Artistly, then there's nothing saying you can't use these other platforms with what you're already given if you're already paying for that. So use your 600 credits up doing something. Even if it's just creating some backgrounds or something. It does say it has a commercial license included to use those images. So, anyway, but like I said, this is what I use. And let's see. One more, and we will download these and I will show you the quality. Something else to consider when you're just getting started or you're established but you need to cut expenses is look at it this way. If you cut out a tool that makes you work faster, I'm going to go ahead and download these, then you're trading your productivity. So maybe you need to make changes in a different area because otherwise it's going to take you a lot longer to do less work. With this and with the bulk features that are included for the background removal and stuff like that, I gained, this was prior to Artistly even having any of the bulk features. And so I gained so much because I was able to put out my clip art packs so much faster than without it. So, there we go. Okay. I do believe that this is my computer because it's like across the board running a little slower. Okay. So now I'm going to extract all these and I'm going to go in and just show you some of the images. So you can see how it removed the backgrounds and also, and I do a lot of florals. There wasn't a lot of florals, I don't think, in this, but loads and this one. I extracted it all, so it's this one. Okay, so we're going to go into large icons, extra large icons. Okay, so these are our images. See how slow everything's working? It's not just, it wasn't Pixelcut. I think it was my computer. I think it was my internet. Maybe my internet and my computer. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm going to double click on this one. It's going to open up in my viewer and you're going to be able to see. This is fairly detailed. Now this one, it does not look like it did a great job with the hay here. Let's go back in. And that happens. I mean, it does. Certain images are just not going to. Let's try this one. Now this one, it did perfect. So you know what I would do with that other image? I would probably trash it. Or not trash it. I would probably use it where I could leave the background on it. If you've been watching my videos very long, you will know that I do not get bogged down with one image. And if it does not, in my process, it doesn't do really well, then I am not going to worry with it. So this one basically is now 4096 by 4096. It's a 32-bit 96 DPI. So it's pretty good quality. The only thing I would have to do is go back in and change it to the 300 DPI, and it would be a really great image. But like I said, if they look like they need, now this one to me looks fine. But that one that didn't do well, like right here, I would just not use that image in my pack. So if there's a problem with it and I'm going to have to spend an hour trying to make that image look good, see, like now this one, I probably wouldn't use. Of course, I don't actually like that image anyway. That's kind of one of my, I wasn't real pleased with those. But for the most part, it does really well. Okay, so that kind of shows you a little bit about that. And trust me, with the packs I've been able to create, Pixelcut has been a really good product. So let me go back to the beginning and show you. And I'll go to my tools and template. Okay, so it does lots of things though. You can start from a blank design. You can do profile pictures. You can even play around with mock-ups. I haven't really been able to. I think most of the mock-ups that it does are more related to products like this. If you got a product like that, you can just pull your image in and it'll just stand it on these things. I tried it with one of my books and I just, it just wasn't what I wanted. You can do lots of templates. You can do backgrounds, social media posts, things for Etsy where you can pull in and do different colors and use those templates, collages, all kind of stuff that you can do. So there's other things you can do using it. Some of them use the credits. The upscale, I have not been able to tell that the upscale and the credits that you don't use credits to do that. However, if you go down and you scroll when you get there, it'll show you they also have a free version. Now, what I've found with the background removal and the magic eraser and the fast upscale, those products, is you can use them, but you can't do the bulk. So you still are using them one at a time, which if you're not doing a lot of bulk or you're doing really small packs of like 8 or 10 and you want to individually remove the backgrounds on those images, or you're doing for invitations where you don't need to upscale or remove backgrounds on but a few images, then and it's one that maybe you tried in Canva Pro and it was not good enough, then try it in that one and see if you can remove the background then. Usually if I try it in 2 different ones or, my options for removing background and it still doesn't do it without me having to go in and do a lot of work with it by hand, then I'm just going to use that for a different product. I mean, I can use it for bookmarks or stickers or all kind of things. We just all have to think beyond thinking that that's trash and just redirect that image that the background just won't remove on and use it for something else like a Tumblr or whatever. So this is kind of how that works. So basically your these 300 a day and everything like that, I'm not sure how that, I think you can do these. The generative fills, that's probably some of those mock-up kind of things. I actually did try the mock-up thing and it did not take away any of the credits. So I believe the credits are mostly attached to these things, like using these particular features. So I do know that when I used that to create those 4 images, it didn't give me a choice of how many images, so it was going to be 4 from that prompt. And it also just took away, And like I said, I had 600, and then it took away, and I only have 568 credits left. So it used 32 credits to give me 4 images. So that's not going to be a lot of creation, but use it up for what it is. So, anyway, I just did want to tell you a little bit about Pixelcut and why I use it. I hope that this is helpful for you, and that if you have comments on how you've used it, how it's changed your production and all of that, or if you have features that you've used inside Pixelcut that maybe I need to really look at more seriously, then I'd be glad to look at it. Because right now I'm basically using it to remove the backgrounds and to upscale. So now I decided to go in and just add, as part of this video, um, a little segment on Artistly, because I honestly do use all three: Canva Pro, Artistly, and Pixelcut. So I'm going to go in and we're going to go through and we're actually going to do both. And I haven't done this in a little while. I haven't done these images. So this is going to be able to let us compare these, because, time is money. And also, productivity, getting it done. The products that we use, when I've already said that when Artistly really hits it, and right now it's kind of hit and miss. So we may end up with one where it is perfectly, all the background is removed great. That's not what my point was with Pixelcut. My point was that when all the others fail, that usually Pixelcut is really good for adding in that element, so that you can go in and you can use it when the others don't work. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to go into Artistly, and I do love the bulk actions because you have the option of I'm going to go in, and I can't use those, but let me see if I can remember which images it was that I actually used. I want to kind of do the same one so we can see how it compares. And let's see, right up here. Okay. There we go. Okay, so the cupcake, I know we did that one, and we did these, and we did all the way down to here, I think. And this one. Okay, so that's all the ones that we did before. We're going to upload those. And I'm just going to let it flow. I'm not going to interrupt it. You know that my computer's running a little slower. My internet's a little slower today, but I'm just going to let it run, because by comparison, both were working off the same system. So we're just going to be able to tell how it is. So once it uploads the images and we have those done, then we're going to be able to add our bulk actions. This will light up and we'll be able to do it. They actually, and I don't know if the note is up here. Yeah. They actually do state that this is a high demand feature, so that does affect it. And again, this is why right now I still have Pixelcut, that and the fact that they didn't come out with the bulk actions for Artistly before I had renewed. But sometimes you can work around things. If it takes a little bit longer to do them, then, you can always go through this process. And once you get it done, and you've already started the bulk process, then you don't have to babysit it. It's just they're gonna work in the background online. You can close the computer, you can go on and then come back, and then you're gonna have those images are going to be done. But then you're gonna have to download them all, so you'll have to do that step. But you know, I've worked through a lot of things in my professional careers. That when you don't have the extra money, a lot of times you do have the time. So that's also a way to look at it, that, if you already own Artistly and you need these features, but you can't afford another product, then you kind of work with these features because you already own them. And that's how you can kind of, I guess, rationalize it. So I wanted to be able to show you this as well, and be able to kind of go from there. I'm going to pop over just to look and see, because sometimes I'm wondering if maybe, oh, there they are beginning to pop up. So they are coming through. It's just taking a little while. I'm going to pop over here though and look to see if these have already been upscaled. They actually have already been upscaled. That's why it's taken them so long to upload. So maybe I need to actually go in and change it up. Okay. So what I'm going to do, that's why it's taken so long. I apologize. That is one of the things with Artistly, is if they, now it is getting them, but these are have already been upscaled is the problem. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically refresh this and see if it allows me to do it again. Okay, I'm going to go back in and I'm just going to grab some flowers. They won't be the same images, but actually flowers are harder. So let me find some flowers here that we can do. I found some a few minutes ago. And let me make sure before I go to doing this that okay, here we go. I'll just do these. All right, so let's just say this one, and it is, yes, 1024 by 1024. It's only, yeah, these are good candidates. So we're gonna do this, and we'll do all of these. I don't think this one will, because I think it has a background, so I won't do that one. So we're going to go from here to here. And this one may not do well because of that behind it, but it's definitely going to be a test. But these should, yes, they should pop up. So that was all my fault. I was trying to upscale something that apparently had already been upscaled. So let's see. Those are all done. See how quickly it did it. So if you're going from your straight images, it should be a lot faster than that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click the plus. We're going to remove the background. We're also going to then upscale the image, and then our final step will be converting it, and we're going to need to click only upscale because it's not like a human photograph. And then we're going to convert it to 300 dpi. Okay, so now we're going to do click bulk action. I'm just going to choose one of the ones I have. Okay, so now what's going to happen with this is it's going to pop those images back on the screen fairly quickly, typically, like this. Okay, but what you're going to need to understand is that it's not finished doing what it's supposed to do. So when we go in here, you're going to see that this is processing, and that's why you're going to see Now, this may leave it on because, like I said, a lot of times the washes behind things don't, in any of them, don't remove really clear. It is saying that the background has been removed with this one, but like I said, that one is not a good example. I don't think it's these are images that have those washes that I would probably not try to remove the backgrounds. Now this is better. Now this is showing the progression. So if you go ahead and download before it finishes and everything turns green and this turns green and says that it's private, then what you're doing is you're downloading it before the bulk if actions have been done. So, and I also am going to take these images, the same images, and I'm going to go and to Pixelcut, and we're going to see what the comparison is. So let's just go to remove background, and I'm going to go to over here. Um, just while it's finishing up. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to leave that, and then I'll just actually go into this one and try to remove the background from it. Okay, so let's look. This one says everything's been done, and it says private. So this one says the same. Once they flip over, you know that you can then download them. So all of these have been done. We're going to now download them through the bulk download. And okay, so that's that. So we're going to download those. It'll download them as a zip file. And then we're going to do the exact same thing we did with Pixelcut. We're going to go in, we're going to click on them. We're going to look and see how well it did. This one, we're going to extract all of them. Okay. And now we're going to go into the file, which is here. These are the Artistly. Okay. So this is going to be the one that I told you. Okay. So it did a decent job in a lot of places, but the wash behind it, and here you can see where it did not do very well. As far as the upscaling goes, that's brilliant. And as far as now, that image is a 300 dpi image at 32-bit. So we've got we did all of it. That just wasn't a really good image. So we're not really going to, I mean, I knew that wasn't, I basically told you. And so this one, same difference. The wash behind it just makes it really difficult. But now this one should be much better. This one is pretty good. It did not get right here. So again, you know, you get the really good quality of the upscale in the background, but the background remover is just not quite there yet. Now, I'm rooting for it because all of us will be so much better off. Now, some images like this one, it's only where the white is right here. Now, another trick that a lot of times you can do with florals that helps is to put the florals in a contrasting. See right here? You can tell the difference there. So, see right there? Okay. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go back to Pixelcut, and I'm actually going to go into this file where everything's already been done and just try to do a couple of them. Just to, that's not it. Let's go back up. Okay, so we're going to go in this one. And like that. Okay, so let's go in this one. We know that it has this wash, and we're going to see if it will. Let's go to the tools. Let's send the background remover. We're just going to upload the one and see if it will remove all of it. Like I said, some of them won't remove. It just can't remove it. So we're going to see if Pixelcut does a better job with the wash behind it so that we're comparing it. Now this one is a much higher resolution, which is why it's taken a little bit longer to do, because I didn't start from the original image. Now what I am going to do is I am going to go and, okay, could not remove background. So retry. Okay, so I am going to go back in and I'm going to go back, close it, and we're going to attempt to find the image again, the original image. That's what I was afraid of because it had already done all the conversion. So let's just pop through here. Okay, so I've got some more images that I am going to upload. And they're right here. They have a similar shading in the back, but I really like the images, so I would really like to be able to use them. So we're gonna test it through again to see if Pixelcut can actually remove that shading, or if it's basically just that with that wash in the background, it's just really difficult to remove it. So we're gonna see if it can do it. We know that Pixelcut, Artistly had a hard time with it. So it did not work on Artistly to remove the wash in the back of the floor. And florals are one of the hardest things, so it's kind of a good thing to show you, is that's where a lot of your problems you're gonna run into, is when you're doing florals. So it seems to be struggling a little bit because it is taking a little bit longer, which could be my computer could not remove the background off some of the images. It looks like it could not really do much. So I'm going to retry this one rather than it having trying to do the other. So that's going to be a problem with all of them, really. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go in and we're going to compare Canva. So I'm just going to go in, open up, and I'm going to upload one of those images. Let's go back to the beginning here. Go up here. We're just going to pick one. Okay. Okay. So now let's see what Canva's background remover is going to do. Okay, it actually did remove a little bit, but still not enough to really be able to use that image as is. Now, let me show you what I would do with this image, or how I could do it. And this is all about, again, working on the fly, figuring it out. So let's just say we take a circle like this and we lay it over it and we position it to the back. Okay, so now we have yellow back there, but we also still have that green. So instead, we're going to go and we're going to scroll down to that green, and we're going to do that. So now we've made it a usable image. Another thing we could do is, if we put this against that green background, we could have a pretty sticker. So we could go here and just change the whole background to that color. And then, it would look better. Or even, let's go down here. So, if we were designing like that on an invitation or something, you have the little bit of shadow, so it wouldn't be as noticeable. And now this is still our little circle here. So that's a couple of ways that you can use those images. So it still did not do that. Okay, so it could not remove the background. So even this one is saying that it couldn't remove the background. So I'm a little confused about that. So I'm going to pull that one in right by itself. I don't know why it did that. Okay. I want to say it's this one, because it actually should be able to remove the background on that one. I don't see any wash behind it. And Canva should be able to remove that particular one as well. So let's do this. Okay. Yeah, so see that one, Canva was able to remove that background well. It's just the ones with the wash. That's why it's really important to try to let's do these. I don't anticipate that these are going to be any different. But we'll try them. Let's see. In Artistly. Pixelcut. Okay, so see, this one actually did remove the background. So yeah, so you got a clean background removal with that one. So that one is great. It's just the ones with the washes that present the problems. And as we see, you still see that wash in the background. This one you don't, but it says it's still processing, but you're still going to end up with that same issue behind those because of the wash. But then this one is clean. So when you see a lot of that wash, it's going to be super difficult to get that removed from behind your flowers. And it's still processing. Okay. So private, but still the wash. So those are just some real talk concerns about doing your images and everything. When you get these images that have the washes behind it, unless you're going to use them for something else that it doesn't really matter about the wash behind them, then I would just keep populating them and try to work the wash out from them so that they come up with something a little bit more like this. Okay, so we're basically going to take this one into, we're going to go, we downloaded it. Let's see our downloads. Or I thought we did, yeah. Okay, Artistly. Okay, and this is we're going to double click on it, and okay. So you see that these little elements here, you see where it left a little bit of the white there. So it looks really good until you pull it up. So now let's look at the comparison between the background remover and that we did in Pixelcut. Let me go back to Pixelcut here, and let's download that image. And then we can go back here and refresh. And then we're going to open this one from Pixelcut, and you see it did a much better job of the these particular things right here are actually part of the flower, so I wouldn't worry about those. I'm mainly worried about the outside edges because these are highlighters. These are like part of the actual image, the shading. They've used white as a shading. So I wouldn't really worry that much about that. And then, of course, we'll go into Canva and let's just look. We'll go into the edit and we can look at it right here. And we can see that it did a really good job as well. And that is part of the shading around the flower. So the Pixelcut and the Canva did really well. I'll just do it against this one. We're just going to turn this to black so that you can see. But then you can see that it did a really clean look there on that. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I hope that you've enjoyed this look into upscaling and background removal and all of that. And so for the record, I love the upscale and the 300 DPI in Artistly. It does a great job. The background remover is still a little bit, at this time, now when you're watching this, they may be corrected that. They are working on it, and every day, they put out new changes and stuff. So don't discount it. Do testing for yourself and test those batch, the little batch actions inside Artistly. And, at some point, it's going to get to that point where that's just going to be, it's already a great tool because of the upscale and the 300 DPI that it does. But it's going to be even more valuable once that background remover is where it needs to be. Just a few more tweaks, and I think they'll have it there. Until then these are the other options and tools that I use, and then a little insight into, especially with florals or anything that's going to have a heavy wash behind the actual clip art. It's going to be really hard to remove those, so I would reserve those to use them creatively in other things. This image that we were looking at, it could be used in a bookmark. Just lay it over the same color, or put a little circle behind it so there's a little accent. I mean, there's definitely things that you can use those images for without having to spend hours trying to, remove those little leftover pieces, because it's just not worth it to your productivity to get bogged down with those images. Now, if you're doing wall art, which in most cases you're not going to be using background removal in wall art. So if you were doing art like that, then possibly it might be worth spending all that time. But look at what you're going to make with your clip art pack. Look at the productivity and the time cost, and just make your choices, really good choices as far as what you spend your time doing, because we can spend tons of time, but if it takes us, a whole day to do one pack of clip art, and we're only going to make $3 on it, then we're still going to get our money. I mean, you're still going to benefit if you sell it in the future with it being a digital product. You're still going to make it, but you're spending a lot of productivity time when you could be hitting different trends. You could be doing a lot of marketing that, for that pack. There's a lot of stuff you could be doing rather than just sitting there and doing the busy work. So use the tools that are available to increase your productivity so that you can build your store faster. So, anyway, so thank you for watching, and be sure and like and share and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget about my playbooks. They are definitely changing the way creatives just like you are learning to prompt and learning to come up with their own original styles and making it a little faster process for them. And those are available on Etsy and on Gumroad. If you are in the EU, you'll need to buy through the Gumroad store. And also, if you're interested in the Junk Journal edition, that one is only available on Gumroad. If I have sales available, then they are reflected in the sale prices on Etsy. And if I have a sale going on for Gumroad, then you do need a code. And currently, that code is Summer50. And so you're welcome to use that code. I don't know when you're going to be watching this, though. So you'll just need to probably go to one of my more recent videos to see if I have a code listed in the descriptions. That's usually where I list my codes for you guys. Also, in the description, I also have a link to Pixelcut. If you decide you want to try it out, I do have a link. It will not cost you any more to use it. It's the same price, and either way. Same thing with Artistly. If you're looking for a really good image generator, then I love Artistly. Be sure and watch some of my videos on Artistly and all the wonderful things I'm able to create with it. And let's see. I have a free newsletter, and I also have a free to join Facebook group, and you're welcome to do that, to join both of those. No cost for that, and it's just extra support, extra ideas, extra. Our group is great. A lot of wonderful, supportive people in there. The newsletter has lots of ideas, all from marketing and selling to image creation to time management, all those things. So, anyway, would love to have you. So, be sure and subscribe to my channel for updates on videos as I release them. And until next time, happy creating.